Yesterday, children of key workers went to school. Children of policemen, doctors, nurses, care workers, lorry drivers, teachers, etc. Only to find deserted classrooms and an eerie silence in the playground and in the assembly hall. The children were anxious because they had to leave their parents behind. The parents were anxious because they had to send their children to school. These are anxious days when everyone's concerned about whether they will contract the coronavirus by meeting someone innocently at school or at work, especially those workers on the front line who could contract it as they deal with patients in desperate need. We also know that because of yesterday's measures, life as we know it is gradually grinding to a halt. The shops where you go for your clothes and for your takeaways are closed. John Lewis, McDonald's, Subway, Next, Dunhelm, they've all closed their doors for the moment. The dentist is closed, the doctors are closed. Life as we know it is grinding to a halt. The very fabric of our society is disintegrating because of this pandemic. The foundation of our society, the things that we normally do, that we used to do every day, we no longer can do. You can't go necessarily to Pen y Fan to climb the mountain. You can't go for a walk with all your friends, as a rambling group. All those things that we've taken for granted for such a long time have come to an end. This has never happened in our lifetimes. The very, very things that we establish our life on are disappearing. I wondered this morning what we have founded our lives on. What is the foundation of our life? All of us, in some way or other, establish our lives on different things. Sometimes it's money. You know, the stocks and shares are falling. The stock market is plummeting. Last century, in 1929, there was something called the Wall Street crash. In September and October of that year, the stock markets plummeted in an unprecedented way. And because people were established in those ways, their whole livelihood came crumbling down. Many people lost their lives during that time because their whole lives were founded on money. Sometimes we established our lives on sport or leisure and pleasure. Sometimes it's on other things. Perhaps the family is the centre of our life. Now all these things are okay in their place, but when they are the sole foundation of our life and they come crumbling down, we have nothing to hold on to, nothing to rely on. It's like sand running through our fingers. There's no substance to it and we don't know where to go. Let me take you to a famous passage in the Bible. It's called the Sermon on the Mount, where Jesus looks at the foundation of our lives. It's called the parable of the wise and foolish builders. This is what it says. Everyone who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who built his house upon a rock. The rain fell, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, but it did not fall because it had been founded upon the rock. Everyone who hears these words, however, and does not do them is like a foolish man who built his house upon sand. And the rain fell, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell. And great was the fall of it. You see, if you build your house on sand, on temporary things, unsubstantial things, then that house is going to fall. That life is going to come tumbling down. Jesus says here, I am the rock. Build your life on me. There's a foundation in me. Whatever happens in your life, it's described here as winds and rain and floods. And you know from recent history, if there's not a solid foundation, the very substance of that house comes crumbling down. And so Jesus is saying, whatever happens in life, you can rely on me. Those other things I mentioned today, they are important. But he says, I am the rock. You can build your life on me. You know and I know that if you have a deep foundation in life, whatever comes your way, you can survive. Unfortunately, in our world at the moment, we are not surviving. We are struggling. But we got to get through this, as we are told all the time. And we will get through it. But what your foundation is dictates how you will get through it. David in the Old Testament said a similar thing. Thousands of years before Jesus, he said this, I love you, O Lord, my strength. The Lord is my rock, my fortress, my deliverer. My God, my rock, in whom I take refuge. Who is the rock, he says, except our God? So this morning, in these rocky times, in these unprecedented times, when we are not sure where to turn and how to cope with life, don't let the grains of sand run through your fingers because your foundation is something weak and fragile and feeble. Put your trust in Jesus. He is the rock. Give him a chance. Help him. Help you to serve him and have a good solid foundation as the winds and waves of this temporal time beat you. I'm going to pray. Lord, I just pray you will help each one of us to come to you and put our lives on you and establish our lives in you, because you are our rock. Whatever happens in the next months and weeks, we don't know. But with you, we can be sure that you are the same yesterday, today, and forever. Whatever comes our way, we can depend on you. Help us to put our lives in your hands. In your name I ask it. Amen.